Like I said, it's how you decide to play it. So this is all right. This is how it works. You have a light attack string and a heavy attack string for 3 different stances. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, the little like wheel thing is a stance indicator. So in low stance, your light attack combo is like this. In mid stance, your light attack combo changes. In high stance, your light attack combo changes as well. So you have movesets for 3 different stances. Within each stance and within each weapon class, you actually have like a skill tree. So you unlock different abilities. So if you use triangle, which is heavy attack, at the end of a light attack combo, you'll do a kick instead. So this input right here would be square, square, triangle to kick. Now, you can dynamically change stances mid-combat. So if you do a low string attack and then switch to like different stances, you can create like pseudo combos to string things together, which is really, really fun to do. It's just really, really fun. And there is an input system called key pulse that is really, really important, and it's interactive in the sense that you actually have to be actively putting an input with proper timing. So if you watch the stamina bar, when you use attacks, your stamina bar depletes, and a portion of the stamina bar is like this reddish kind of shaded color, and that's the amount that's been depleted. Your stamina won't regen normally until a white light fills up that depleted portion, and then you start to regain stamina from your original position. Now, what you can do instead, however, is as that white light is filling up, you can press an input to instantly regain that amount of stamina. It also like immediately begins stamina regeneration. So if you're playing well and you're properly using your inputs and you're properly key pulsing, you're giving yourself so much more stamina than your enemies, and it's going to be a big deal in PvP, I can imagine, as well. There's a lot of different attacks that do big stamina damage, so you actually manage your own stamina as well as the stamina of your opponents. If you get hit, or if enemies get hit when they're out of stamina, they stagger. So I could basically just keep fighting this guy, kicking him to try and lower his stamina, and if I break his guard, every attack that I do will stun him for like a short duration. Really neat managing the 2 different options there. Now, it gets even more interesting when you figure out that key pulse can be used as a stance change as well. So you can start in like low stance, key pulse, switch to a different stance and start attacking, and string together combos and different abilities. You can also use key pulse to instantly switch between weapons. So if I'm doing a mid-stance katana combo, I can switch to a different weapon, like on the key pulse, if I don't fuck it up. So how does the kick ability help you, though? So kick as a skill, it's a mid and low stance only skill, follows up a combo with a kick that causes a large amount of ki damage or a large amount of stamina damage. It's just one of the tools or attacks that you have available. So you can like string these different combos and different abilities together on the fly, which is really neat. Like one of the other things you can do as well is, let's say you wanted to do a high attack or a high stance attack combo. So actually, let me switch to the other weapon. This is square, square, and then triangle does this like overhead attack ability. That overhead attack is where is it? It's this right here, Morning Moon. Now, you can actually go in and change which attacks are used in which stances, and you'll have different abilities that use the same key inputs, so you have to actually decide which one is being used at a given time. So you literally have a large selection of different specials that can be used in conjunction with your normal combo strings between 3 different stances between 2 different weapons. It's crazy. And now the other ridiculous thing is you can combo cancel. So normally square, triangle with that skill unlocked does this, right? But you can do square, weapon sheath to break the combo, and then the triangle is a normal heavy attack in high stance. So it looks like this. It goes square, and then cancel into normal. Instead of that, it's this. The little nuanced things with this game become pretty ridiculous. One of the other really crazy skills is this here. So you have abilities, like passive abilities, that will allow your dodge to also input a key pulse. So instead of having to press your like R1 button to do the key pulse, you can just do it with a dodge, which is why you saw me like dodging around so much, because dodge is actually regaining stamina because I have that passive and I'm doing the timing for it appropriately. It's pretty insane. That's what I'm saying. Like, this game is so fucking in-depth, and that's why people who are like, oh, this is just a Dark Souls clone, they just, yeah. Anytime I see somebody's like, oh, this is just a shitty Dark Souls, or this is just a Dark Souls clone, it's like, in order to say that comment seriously, you have to be so ignorant of how this game actually works. We'll nerf that. That's busted. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, one of the other crazy things you can do is you can stance change mid-animation. So let's say you're doing like a heavy attack string, and normally you wanted to switch to low stance. It would look like this. You would go heavy attack string and then switch to low stance, and it would force you to key pulse, which is a little annoying. If you do the input really, really quickly, you can actually stance change during the animation, and it doesn't force a key pulse. And this is useful because now you can actually string combos from different stances together. Or you can use like the better dashes in different ways. Like, now I can key pulse with the dash instead of like the other way. I don't know. It's really neat. And then one of the other things as well is there's a passive ability called Flux. So if you key pulse while you change stances, you actually gain a positive amount of stamina back. So key pulse only recovers exactly the red portion of the bar when it's done this way, right? So if you're watching the stamina bar, it's exactly the amount that gets recovered. But if you stance change when Flux is a thing, you gain a net positive. So it's one of the reasons why, you know, I often do attacks and I swap between different attacks, because I'm trying to maintain a net amount of stamina and maintain that. And then one of the other ridiculous things you can do is I don't know if this is a bug or not, or if it's intended, but if you do multiple stance changes, you'll gain multiple bonuses to stamina. So, like, if we just fuck all of our stamina right here, you can do a multiple stance change to gain, like, crazy amounts of stamina back. It's pretty hilarious. Like, there's just so much shit you can do in this game. And this is just one weapon, right? Then you have an entire moveset for dual swords. You have an entire moveset for spears. You have an entire moveset for axes. You have an entire moveset for Kusarigama. And because you can, like I said, dynamically switch between weapons on the fly, you can, you know, you can be doing, like... You can be doing a mid-stance combo, switch to, you know, your weapon, or a different weapon, and then string together different combos between different actual attacks, or different weapons, which is another level of shit that people are going to have to get used to, especially for PvP. Like, the skill cap in PvP, I imagine, is going to be insane. I imagine PvP is going to be very goofy in this game. I don't know how it's actually going to look, but it's something I'm interested in seeing. So,